All right, to level up the beef crumbles, I'm going to be making taco sloppy joes or sloppy taco, Joe's sloppy Jose tacos. We're going to be making sloppy joes with like taco meat, kind of. You might be wondering, how are we going to be able to make a sandwich? So if you've not seen my Baconator video, I probably made that 3 years ago now. I came up with a bun recipe that I've used ever since, and it's very simple. You're going to need 1 ounce of pork rinds by weight. If you have ground pork rinds, still need 1 ounce. Those into your food processor. You can always do this in a blender if you don't have a food processor. That's fine. You just need to stop every now and then and start scraping things down. Gonna need 3 eggs. Bloop, bloop, bloop. 4 ounces of cooked ground beef. I made this earlier. If you remember the Parmesan cheeseburger, yeah, it didn't always look like that. This might have been that failure, but luckily I needed it for this recipe. Throw that right in there. 1 ounce of the finest cream cheese, or at least the finest cream cheese that you can afford. About a ½ teaspoon of baking powder. Finally, about a ¼ teaspoon of salt just to get it seasoned up. And now we cut to the part where it's not insanely loud and our batter is ready. And you might notice that as this sits, it will kind of dry up a little bit. That's because the pork rinds are hydrating. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because you don't want to have a goopy bun. I already have goopy meat going inside the bun. I really don't want goop on goop action unless you just like weird scented candles. And for this bun, you will need a ring mold or 2 because this should make 2 buns. These are just little egg molds that you crack an egg into to make perfect circle eggs for some reason, but I use them to make carnivore buns. And all I'm gonna do is evenly distribute between the 2 molds. And it might not look like much right now, but you're gonna see magic happen here soon. All right, these are molded up. I've got my oven set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna throw these in for roughly 20 to 22 minutes, and they should be done by that point because they have to rest and they will continue cooking. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we can start on our sloppy joe filling. I've got my pan set to medium heat. I'm just gonna simply crumble up some ground beef into it. I don't really have an amount that I'm thinking of right now, but if I had to give you one, I'd say 5 to 6 ounces for these 2 buns I have. And to that, I'm going to obviously be adding some taco seasoning. Since it's 6 ounces, I'm going to add about a ½ teaspoon or so worth. And while it's cooking, I'm just going to add a little hot sauce to this to add some tang to it. This is going to be 2 teaspoons or so. Any of the spice that's even in this will definitely cook off. And I'm just going to get that moving. But you may be asking yourself, dear Mr. Chef, how is this going to be sloppy? And to that I say, by using sour cream, of course. I'm gonna add about 3 ounces or so by weight, maybe 4, I'm not sure what this is, just kind of eyeball it. So what the sour cream is gonna do is thicken, it's gonna help emulsify the fat from the beef into everything, and most importantly, it'll help make it sloppy without just being a drippy, greasy mess. And judging by the amount of grease in my pan, the label that said lean ground beef was a lie. Let's give this a little taste for seasoning. Just a touch more taco seasoning, maybe roughly a ¼ teaspoon. Add a little more of this hot sauce. So what we need to do next is get those buns out of the oven. So I didn't think about rise happening because I put baking powder in it. Ended up with having to scrape this stuff off. But I got one that looks halfway decent. This one's looking a little amorphous. I'm gonna let these rest for about 5 or 10 minutes just so I can handle them. They're really hot right now still. It'll also give them a chance to finish in the middle. So 10 minutes later, we should be good to go. I'm just going to get these out of these molds. Yeah, this one turned out pretty nice. It could have been better. See where it was starting to spill over. But got a nice little bun right here. So all we need to do is take one, split it in half. See that nice crumb structure we got in the middle of the bun? It actually looks like bread, which is really cool. Take our sloppy joe mix, put it on our bun halves. I'm going to add just a little garnish to the plate to brighten it up a little bit. And there we have some taco sloppy joes, or whatever you want to call it. I can't really come up with a good name, so I'm just going to keep calling it taco sloppy joes. Alright, let's give this a taste. Rate it 1 through 10. God, I haven't had these buns in so long, I forgot how good they are. But that filling is really good. It's nice and tangy, got a good taco flavor. It's definitely sloppy. And honestly, this one's just really good. It's definitely the biggest change up out of all these recipes. And it's likely the most effort to make, but it's well worth it. This is top tier.